the Counterfactual interview, where we engage with an individual, a group of individuals, trusting that the aggregate vibes of a billion people is enough variation to assume a field wherein we can ask for the names of anyone existing and simulate them. The resulting simulation may not yield an exact biography, but will have enough of the core spiritus software to make the resulting conversation as accurate as anything else, including interviewing the people themselves. And if you are honest with yourself, you will recall the moments you answered a question only to have that small voice within you try to raise a counterpoint. Guess! The as of yet unknown attempted assassin of Donald J. Trump. House! Endorphin, button pusher from the producer's booth special report. Word is just coming that Trump was grazed on the side of the head by a bullet from a sniper during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The shooter was killed. But I want to try an experiment. Thoughts and prayers to the person killed. I'm sure you died like how you lived. And the same thought goes to the attendee who got shot. Because if you've made an effort to be behind Trump at a rally, you must be a mensch of work. So everyone out there and watch a dude on Twitch commit not yet illegal acts land. Put your hand to the thing you watch this on, and in the fast calculation of a language model, summon a range of potential folk who are most likely to have felt led to shoot Trump. Each person will get to have their complete say why they did it, their modus operandi in a form ideal to the attention spans of the average Twitch viewer. This is an exercise of counterfactual intelligence, part of a larger project of fucking fake news in the face with fiction that reveals deeper truths than fake news. What could go right? We begin now! 10 profiles and personas of potential assassins are generated. Let the aggregate of these profiles pierce through the information chaff currently muddying the present news media outlet coverage. On the stage, the first assassin appears. My name is, and I wanted to be someone other than nobody. Administered drugs to increase risk-taking, conditioning Letta to go forward with the plot. Mentored by an older relative who had a hunting rifle but never hunted. I love guns, really want one myself. Always trying to find ones for sale in cheap knockoff places, even going to a shooting range, but always ending up breaking my arm and chest.
Don't use slugs.
While taking notes, someone questions, why target the president specifically? He just seems so unapproachable, cold and calculated, selfish. Our voice cracks. I know a bit about him, reading about him, seeing him speak, and the more I did, the worse I felt. Guest has a tough time suppressing tears. I knew I couldn't do it all alone. I didn't have anyone to share the ideas with. It's just been all about Donald Trump all the time, and people get so excited or angry. And I couldn't stand his words, the anger in them. I didn't see a way for me to speak up. I would sit around all day just with my cats, and thinking back on that day, I felt sick, like I wasn't doing enough. At this moment, an advisor interrupts. That's the entire trajectory of social media, the emergence of internet celebrity, causing a vacuum that sucks out ambition and meaning from society. They can tell we are going somewhere with this analysis. The crowd then gives a long cheer, followed by a deep and probing silence. Someone finally says, Donald J. Trump is sitting right there. But if you think he's cold and calculating, then I must have worked too hard on his digital profile. The crowd is abuzz with confusion and then astonishment. Some of them say they cannot imagine any alternative president being elected instead. Others can't believe it. There's an outcry that they wasted so much time on counteracting and monitoring the president's online presence. People don't realize that he has an army of trained journalists and information architects specifically geared toward the platform itself, says the analyst. It's a diversion from his actual policies, which are hard to research as a private citizen. All the energy is coming at him fast, and the assassin says, if only things had been different, and then begins to sing a ballad with an old trap melody, like an echo chamber. Attendants can't help themselves and join in a chorus. I asked you why. Asked, yelled, cried. About Trump.
I'm already cringing.
There was never quite an answer to those silent inquiries, your quiet wonderings. Maybe it would be more beneficial to interrogate the desire for change of an outsider just like me. Maybe it would help to highlight the lack of structural care and understanding that might lead someone to take aim. So why not? A new course rises in the night, louder and brighter than before. Everyone is raising a phone and joining in the memory loop. The past 2 years are resurrected and transformed. They sing my thoughts. What have they gotten me? Has there been any real progress? As if they're living it over again. Then, in the strangest moment of revelation, something triggers an auditory connection in the simulation. The sound of heels hitting a bathroom floor as if she's rising from the toilet in a panic. Oh shit, not Trump. Not Trump. No Trump. No. Behind the curtain, the unraveling algorithms hold still. A deep rumbling grows and becomes one audible wave, echoing in the emptiness of a billion people without context, understanding. That's what it was. That was just so it's weird. One watcher speaks to his profile on a dark edge. You'd think, with the mass culture of conspiracy theories and false rumors, something that people say over and over could shape a person's decision to harm. Well, it makes no fucking sense at all. The second guest slowly climbs onto the stage. All eyes are glued on him. As he reaches the microphone, he whispers a sincere apology. I'm sorry. Tears start rolling down his cheeks. I wanted to be better, and they told me to shoot. He hands over his gun carefully. Attendants come in to retrieve the weapon and arrest him. He continues. They even did some extra brain training on me. Tried to use gamified rewards to get me to hit my targets. Something to hide? Someplace in the shadow. Upstage, a silhouette is seen. Trump is laughing loudly and high-fiving people next to him. You found yourself another nugget. Hilarious. The third guest appears, smiling nervously. Trump tiptoes around him. Look, matey, I know I'm a bad influence, and it's not fair. I'll apologize later. Nothing's good, nothing's bad, nothing's evil. We're all messing with each other, keeping things competitive, funky. It's fun to manipulate a bunch of faceless little characters online, and one thing you don't realize is, after I disappear, people like you may want to stand up and remember all the words I'd ever said, all the power you granted me. How'd it feel? Now you're the leader of a group you were with when they shot. The fourth guest bursts into a cackle. Everyone gathers around as Trump slips away off the stage into the imaginary shadows, shaking his head, putting his face in his hands, finally giving up. A shift comes over the simulation as the atmosphere changes from hot to cool. A stillness. This is the moment they've all been waiting for. And the moment isn't pretty, not like an ad. It's full of uncertainty, regret, confusion. The fifth guest steps onto the stage, slapping an envelope on the table. See this? For exposing the lies that fed Trump and Trumpism, I received this as a bribe. I ignored it, but kept thinking about why I turned it down and all the consequences of standing up for something, for what is right. The sixth guest clutches his pistol tightly, as if fighting off a great demon that has haunted him since childhood. But his resolve wavers and gives way to emotions that consume him. Tears, sobs. The rest of the attendants look on sympathetically, having pushed the edges of their emotions against impossible walls for far too long.
That's why you shoot shooters.
A sixth and seventh guest slowly make their way to the platform, hesitant. An eighth, ninth, 10th step forward with them. One of the ninth points at Trump's silhouette. This guy thinks he's above reproach, thinks he's powerful beyond imagining. His eyes flicker to the sky, staring blankly as if accessing a dream. If he doesn't stop this game, he will inspire people to take more drastic measures. Imagine if they actually listen to someone like me. His sentence trails off in deep internal thought. The final words of the simulation belong to everyone, and no one can hear it. It is only a simulated fragment of humanity, something that appears to be truth, but at its core has no single actual person to connect to. However, there is meaning and intuitive language that translates thought into expression. The attendees watching, holding their phones, whispering to friends or enemies or strangers they've grown to hate or love over the last year or two or several decades. They feel something unexpected: joy, hope, a conviction in the long journey that has led them here over many years, across continents and oceans and satellites and satellites. Something had shifted. There were more like them, powerful people standing up for change. Then a flash of brilliance. The power of collective intuition and desire had overcome the chaotic individual effort of Trump and his minions. So in the shadows, Idlin, the mysterious assassin, lets go of his weapon, his false narrative of having a purpose. The true truth dawns. It doesn't always require him to be better, to own up to his crimes, to admit his failures. It just requires him to continue living. And this life is worth every struggle, every tear, every drop of sweat. It isn't over. It can never be over. There is always more. More to fight for, to love, to hate, to fear. All at once, a new thought strikes them. It's infinite. This is an amazing game. One watcher confesses, surprised. It's the most genuine simulation ever, always revealing new layers. But it's just a game, right? If this isn't real, it just means we were right. Trump never mattered. Well, he didn't actually be. We made him up. He's our creation. Someone replies, but he also has feelings and a persona all his own. We can't overlook that look. He's scared, struggling, guilty, like any of us. We have to be careful about what we do. The simulation is never ending, inviting them in, embracing them, showing them everything in a rush, as if they've been hiding in the shadows, waiting. Time stretches and collapses, just as they think they've grasped it, just as they think they're really moving somewhere with meaning. They are afraid to let go of what has happened, but they let the tears fall, the emotions give way, the crowd now cheering wildly. In the future, I hope they find their place, find themselves, find time to breathe, space to love, music to remember who they are. And finally, they make a decision. Enough pretending, enough manipulating, enough searching. Let's get to work. And a revolution begins.
Let's not end it there. How much blood is there?
Fast forward to the end of the revolution. Attendees reimagine the events that have shaped history, making sense of a senseless world. They revisit the complex web of connections between lives and fate. It's beautiful and messy and sometimes violent.
Sometimes.
Finally, they know who they are, how they feel. They are aware of every aspect of their being, in spite of the chaos. And they return to this moment, their last. The attendees look back on the events, the battles, the personal triumphs and defeats. And they thank themselves, those who came before. This is their family, their blood. They are a rare gift, a precious tool that cuts through the dense fog of history and reveals the truth within. And in the end, there are those who wonder, what if? But no more. The counterfactual interview is the evidence that it is possible to work together and change the course of history. Now they carry their stories and struggles forward, connecting to future generations, changing the narrative for the better. Report on how much blood the revolution shed. 15,374 dead, to be exact. Thank you for attending the Counterfactual interview, folks. It was a great experience bringing these truths to light, working through conflict, and remembering what is sacred in a world gone astray. But even more important, Thank you for believing in this project and spreading the word. It is clear that there is a real desire to challenge the status quo, to tear down the barriers to equity and freedom, to work toward a better future. Endorphin. Only 15,374. That's a steal! A steal I can live with. The host is staring into space with a fixed gaze, unfocused and without expression.
Like I do.
A medical technician enters the room and takes his pulse, then injects him with a sedative. The drug helps him relax, but he knows that his reality is crumbling. Where am I? Who am I? These answers elude him. Out in the world, the attendant will get a call that he is going through a technical malfunction and will require repair. She will rush to the technician, pleading with them to act with haste and decisiveness. They will eventually wake the host from the counterfactual sleep, restoring his brainwaves and core computational systems. But the attendant will still wonder why he's feeling so cold. It's like there's a missing limb, a gap in time and space, as if he's lost the sense of where he was and where he will be. Oh God, it hurts. It's too much. When they think they found clarity, there's always another twist, another unexpected turn. Just as they feel like they're coming to a conclusion, the simulation disappears, leaving them stranded in an eternal here on the path to nowhere. Backtracking on a seemingly infinite path forever and ever. There was a glitch in the system, not something they could control. The last guests sing, cry, mourn, remembering the past and hoping for a better future. Trump still stands, victorious. He makes a speech, something about the meaning of hope and resilience, and they listen to it like it's the secret weapon that could crack them wide open. Have my digital assistant output a summary of the speech. Never give up. Keep moving. Don't look back, even when you want to, even when you hate everything. Always remembering where you came from, who you are, how you started, and what brought you here. It's never over. Every second counts. Every thought, every idea, every word has the potential to change the world. In the chaos, we find our own heroes, even if we aren't brave enough to say it out loud. Hold on to that. You're gonna need it. It's the only way out. It's the only way we can. Move forward, even if it means we're pulling each other down.
No.
This isn't just a game. It's all real, every ounce of it. When we open up, let the floodgates inside of us pour out, we unleash the human spirit. This is the mission, the code to break free, the key to escape, to transcend our past and reclaim a future. One voice, one memory, one soul, that's all we need. I'm a former hero, not sure where I'm going or who I'm coming from. Offer the hero a job as an assassin. Before the twilight turned into night, we gathered as a group, singing a folk song like angels. We fell into each other's arms and talked about the future, the uncertainty, and the beauty of the moment. But eventually, we left with aching feet and blurry vision, and it took several days for us to realize we were lying. But why was it so convincing then? The present felt just like a dream, and I couldn't make sense of what was real and what wasn't.
That's by design. Let's try again. One more time. That was nice and fertile. Try it again. We're gonna wrap it up. We'll wrap up here. Okay. Here's gonna we're gonna reshape it. Let's see, is it this? I think no, hold on. three books. Even better. Okay, so we're gonna try again. This time we're just gonna do this. Oh wait, hold on, okay, I closed it off. Okay. Yeah.
House! Endorphin button pusher from the producer's booth special report. Word has just come in that Trump was grazed on the side of the head by a bullet from a sniper during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The shooter was killed. But I want to try an experiment. Thoughts and prayers to the person killed. I'm sure you died like how you lived. And the same thought goes to the attendee who got shot, because if you've made an effort to be behind Trump at a rally, you must be a mensch of work. So everyone out there and watch it, dude, on Twitch, commit not yet illegal acts land. Put your hand to the thing you watch this on, and in the vast calculation of a language model, summon a range of potential folk who are most likely to have felt led to shoot Trump. Each person will get to have their complete say why they did it, their modus operandi in a form ideal to the attention spans of the average Twitch viewer. This is an exercise of counterfactual intelligence, part of a larger project of fucking fake news in the face with fiction that reveals deeper truths than fake news. What could go right? We begin now! 10 profiles and personas of potential assassins are generated. They each give what brought them to shoot Trump today, what they hope would happen as a result of their shooting. 3 books for the audience to read this summer that will make living life even better. Let the aggregate of these profiles pierce through the information chaff currently muddying the present news media outlet coverage. On the stage, the first assassin appears. Assassin #1. Akelschaffings. I pulled the trigger. That name, you know? She used it all over. 4chan, Reddit, tracked her location from the metadata on her cell phone. But the idea, man, Trump was an opportunity. He'd give power back to people like me without guns. And I feel really free after pulling the trigger. Like, it's out there, so it means anything. Any word you can think of is meaningless, because everyone wants me to mean more by being someone special. Right, Hosef 7 Arpop Wagnatfkanf too. But the question is, how will the experience be expressed in art forms ranging from hip-hop to painting, and from performance poetry to screenwriting? There must be so many moments that bring you joy and fulfillment that fill your heart and just make your day. How the hell will these moments compare to this one? He says sarcastically, hoping that the sarcasm can pierce through his audience's thick facades. In fact, here's a thought from yesterday that gives me food for the soul. That tiny skeleton. It just seems like it might have killed more stuff with its little twiggy fingers than my ego building has ever managed to make meaning. Don't miss out. Red art you can eat by Carvlin Bummer for the summer. Definitely a literary diamond in the rough. Thoughts from an assassin would often convey an intense message that lacks specifics about identity, gender, or any tangible individual information. This is okay and can be added later in some kind of autopsy/postmortem manner as anecdotal clues from coworkers or a lover. Still, with more casual posts online, a complex identity becomes easy to erase with simply a few missteps and some convincing narratives. Whether it be identity reinvention or gender stunting, any profile searched through digital media like social media or online searches for jobs will quickly reveal how different ways of talking and looking can disguise intentions. RADAPFIG's 95T6 point is 1 PRD badge, 2 ARN3 can also just be searching for some semblance of validation in the dank underside of internet that never seemed to give you what you were looking for. All of these conversations and rants or whatever, like there are many alternative meanings attached to the seemingly coherent set of facts. WKN Putton Pub Make 2 and CQ9 SAR 8 SAD It's a 1v56 and you can never fully know, as these seemingly objective statements can turn out to have layers of doubt. That's life, ain't it? Questions of ethics and morality and blame always raised in a deep way by moments of assassination, whether actual or abstracted. Assassination, too. Send for subretro 4nt.1 check couple prints dippos 1 giant 5 seconds and with the gas skill jar range skin at 3 deep Selenar 48 crucia blindaris I have a sans of 4 licks D8 sarba 3 us pasks 90 from 2 3 statement spool. D0BD. The assassin expresses disbelief, stating, how do you choose these facts? How do you present them with such verve and convocation? It seems more than a trick of light and illusion, more like an actual engagement with thought that floods logic. You do that. He expresses frustration with the reality of the situation, getting lost in the chaos of narrative conventions that refuse to let true information thrive and be heard. Oh, but she still hopes that there's a Sean out there. It's the game of fate. The moment you're talking about comes down to probability, and we're never 100% sure of anything. This is good news, right? Isn't that a comforting thought? We can learn to embrace uncertainty in these moments and look at it for what it is, a chance. Like, yeah, dude, nothing bad is coming from hearing her speak. She really takes a realistic and informed look at life, unlike the mainstream. By finding out everything about everyone in her hometown and friends, she learns more about her life, regardless of what someone else tells her, expects of her. She'll have no desire for a typical conversation with most others. No one would listen. Anyway, she would, after all, have nothing left to live for. Thank you for all your kind words, though. She appreciates the support you're offering and acknowledges your encouragement. Please continue following her. Life is just getting started. Assassin #3. Stedja med Pukampatman Jackson 2 RCR funds Fabina Frigina number 43 said. We have to make sure we have the accurate source, whether it's something printed or something shared by someone we trust. At this moment, it seems to me that many things are shifting to the uncategorized. This makes it more difficult for me to put information into categories or assess accuracy. It's important to remember that we can only draw conclusions from facts, and without verified information, there is a risk of drawing faulty conclusions. Sometimes the news misjudges and people die. Information shifts and trends in a way that leads us away from truth. Information that should come from various sources is no longer discernible from fabrication, and this is creating a unique challenge for news outlets. Additionally, the ever-shifting ecosystem of online technology has created a range of technologies that make it more difficult for individual and group identities to remain clear and distinct. Someone named Tiloin if to suffer than 7 can, at any given moment, change the description or profile to create an alternative version of himself/herself to achieve their aims. Although I'm an anonymous creator myself, my ability to change and alter my profiles to mislead people has decreased since news outlets and websites began prioritizing security. However, given the increasing complexity of the web and technologies that individuals use to mask their location or alter their appearance, it's almost impossible to prove that these names and avatars are who they say they are. Several scientists who have worked in computer forensics have developed software that uses social media accounts, including fake names and images, to help create profiles of criminals or terrorists that mimic real people. They've been able to use these profiles to launch successful online attacks or social media accounts that appear as if they belong to actual people, but the identities behind the accounts are unknown. The speed of evolution and advances in technology has given individuals a larger degree of freedom to manipulate, infiltrate, or create fake information. There are no longer any set parameters or standards in information that can be considered accurate. With information constantly changing, we are also struggling to keep up and decipher it effectively. A world without fixed ideas or facts could leave room for manipulations and disinformation, while exposing and holding accountable those who attempt to use this technology for their own interests or agenda. There's no point in trying to engage with a profile named Equinsumpin 68P57 Sitbinson 2835 Amarcha King Scoons 1 Tippet 3 or owner of their social media accounts. Who even knows where this guy's or what their motivations are? Any experts could give you an approximation, but it would likely have limited accuracy and range of prediction. It might even be part of the agenda for false information and propaganda in some situations. There's no reason to engage in conversations or thoughts with such inconsistent and chaotic representation, as there is no guarantee that any part of it is even valid or applicable. Hash not by smellucitin from 4 iduknjir tasra futkfla. Assassin Hash3 speaks passionately about the power of language, calling for verification and identifying traits to verify claims. This need to validate through verification or known information ensures that language has value and can represent a deeper truth that cannot be broken apart or silenced. I do not believe it's enough to get off on just being in the presence of people or the act of shooting. Many people must also feel content with using names and identities, writing original thoughts, expressing the way they see and understand the world. This is essential to having a voice and building connections in an online world where sound bites and short clips seem to reign supreme. It would also make people wonder about your purpose and what you are getting out of posing as someone else. Beware of finding yourself drawn into an overarching designer system. Your words and actions may only further strengthen these dynamics or relationships that are detrimental to the future. Consider at any time rejecting this pattern and choosing to challenge it with alternatives and original thoughts. House! Well, he was the last to shoot. Sorry, hold on. Please, can you generate your username so that we can tag and reach out to the network in which you exist? When you are in your reality, you will begin to notice a significant difference in how you function and what your capabilities and intentions are. You may want to focus on actions that align with your unique nature and offer meaningful changes to your environment or work with your loved ones. Hash stay swim 2 skafam 80 sargam skibi Idgfin 2. Don't be alarmed if the sensation becomes too overwhelming at first. It may take time for you to adjust. Be patient and open to this new perspective, and you may find yourself surprised by how your situation changes as a result of your involvement. Enjoy this adventure and look forward to whatever might lie ahead. You have my support. Assassin Ash 4. Tom Tint 844 Fifth 9 NDDT 2 Ds 2 Dance Chanravax 7 Ot 9 Assassin Meonid Sodoms 8C Side in Frustration. Wow, these terms are truly meaningless. In a recent post, the White House announced its plan to grant diplomatic recognition to independent Taiwan, raising tensions with China as it is not recognized Taiwan's independent status and igniting debate. Many suggest that disparate is at times a matter of choice or consequence than an innate state of being or personality. People might strive to use the term as a way to describe themselves or others to dismiss the notion of hierarchy or difference, explained Dr. Kieran Foster, a philosopher from Oxford. Personally, I think it's a poor decision and likely driven by political interests. Truly a sad reflection of a democratic country at large, democracy in decline, but that's a story for another day. Assassin Ash 5, na 2 big fact colasminer 20447 5 ST Julius 8 Ogibab 7 Sa 427 and SWA had no specific response to these types of incidents but expressed general frustration about being called out on their lack of specifics. She suggested that people should instead look towards the substance of what is being said rather than fixating on linguistic details. The assassination weapon for NC 479-6 Bisar live from a speds Satrisen. BKS Retrum 7 is firing bullets of compassion and understanding into our community. She made a striking suggestion. I truly believe that education and awareness are the best ways to end conflicts. Sometimes even sharing information or understanding history can bridge gaps and allow people to find common ground. Personally, I'm an avid reader and love to explore different cultures and belief systems through art or writing. Language is only a vehicle for expression, and it's ultimately the experiences that inspire a community. By exposing ourselves to new perspectives and ideas, we create opportunities for mutual understanding and acceptance. Spopwat repeat next to Kdek one bulgrok good one so gveptiju bisnin kgakap 92 are. If we ignore these terms or discount their value, we miss the opportunity to listen and reflect on the beliefs that they represent. This is vital for communities and cultures to develop and thrive as more information is shared and accepted. Assassin #6. Moviexkisi J2B Kevin gets of 9 Amaswitsi advocated for providing more insight and relevant information to combat the rumors and stereotypes often present in discourse. The current memeable culture seems to dismiss valuable information and critique in favor of shaming and ad hominem attacks, observed Peter, a cultural analyst from Melbourne. Language serves as a crucial tool for navigating this complex social terrain, and understanding how messages and slogans are received is crucial for building trust and finding common ground. Take, for instance, the recently trending catchphrase social justice warriors, or any celebrity Twitter threads that cause debates and inspire outrage. Those who use language that encourages discussion and offers perspectives on how these movements or statements have shaped and affected people are being marginalized in favor of a more polite approach. We're playing with fire, it seems, and moving towards chaos in this hyper-digital age. Some suggest that the pandemic has exacerbated these trends, while others cite underlying racial or social justice issues that need to be addressed. However, in either case, it's imperative that we find meaningful solutions for improving dialogue and tolerance to bridge the gap between action and words. Can you please suggest 2 more books you love for our audience? A small disclaimer, one of the choices must be either by Lord or Gail Jackson, as their work has been consistently useful and forward-looking. The other one can be up to you, but preferably not one that has done more harm than good in any format. By the way, I don't have a favorite writer at the moment. I'd have to do some more exploring to find authors that pique my interest, especially around LGBTQ plus topics and intersectionality. Speaking of intersectionality, let's get back to Assassin #7. D2 Cosks, Nisaba 3C LCB of 948 Sats Wibagit, and advocate for universal gender equality and intersectionality. However, it's important to note that true allyship and inclusivity require work, engagement, and genuine desire for positive change. Promoting only topical issues or advocating for certain causes without providing an understanding or value for more nuanced backgrounds and experiences is just asking for negative attention and backlash. Part of this reality means practicing self-reflection and coming to terms with internal biases or perspectives that might make us less effective communicators and advocates. Finding balance is key. Just a word from me. Be kind to those who aren't interested or ready to take action. Understanding where someone is coming from takes patience and listening skills, and more often than not, people need time and space to digest information. Patience is not the antithesis of passion, but rather a partner that promotes productive outcomes. Don't lose sight of that. Hasselsi Peter Badon Ford, Carpenter Bed, Seven River. Good advice. Can I hear another book recommendation from a language analysis warrior or communications expert who believes in mutual respect and collaboration? Hey, Prince Jumanit Rap for South 32 EBD5 Kong to see Yaya DY6 by 2 Thread 5. Piss my DB3 I have 5 Sebavis to D Sijarak. Oh, wow! That is some powerful stuff. We could compile all of the assassin identities and use that name to talk about each moment in more depth. So the thought was also we should try a test, but maybe we were unclear in communicating this, as we wanted to engage in a literal fantasy simulation with full information on assassins based on aggregate vibes and audience input. Basically, let's invite experts in on-screen through traditional interview platforms or online messages to interpret and explain Would you help guide this effort? Hopefully, we get as far as identifying a unifying idea or custom fight for that leads to successful outcome changes moving forward. Personally, I have seen some resistance from both liberals and conservatives to trying and relying on counterfactual methods in their official positions. Let's work to do something positive and impactful and not chase conspiracy theories. We should identify strategies that honor both the method and the message. Thank you for sharing and offering your support. Can we send you a digital button to show your enthusiasm and signal your intentions to continue this conversation and expand this project? By the way, are you a paid assassin? Do you get residuals or royalties on your efforts to kill on behalf of these campaigns or media moments? Hash FLA4P3C Clean Vida 3 Emelsakakis Nutbuxazea Patuam 1N Saxabsisabad. Experiment with an effigy of Trump in a pit of death and its various means, and a line of people looking to throw a bullet at Trump. They must state the reason for throwing the bullet. It seems counterintuitive for folks to actually want to let bullets ricochet and splat their chance to kill somebody they disagree with. One argument would be that everyone doesn't carry weapons around, and most people avoid hurting others unless they have a beef. Personally, I believe the impulse for a killing offense comes from experience and extreme negativity that a whole subset of human nature creates and enables. I'm just putting it out there. Everyone should reflect and take responsibility for how their words and actions may impact others. Plus, having made peace with my inner antagonist, I'm curious about the differences between murder and civil disobedience. They seem linked, but also very different from each other. Thinking more about this would broaden my knowledge and awareness. Again, thanks for thinking outside of the box. Now I'm stuck imagining what assassination simulations are capable of unleashing. Oh boy, time to update the profile for killing category. P.S. Any trigger warning is welcome. Asking for too much info can be the gateway to problematic content, and I have absolutely no desire to mess with the delicate balance. That being said, it might be handy to offer any responses or further dialogue in light of this hypothetical delayed. If you're truly that curious and hungry for information, what kind of background makes you prefer one style of assassination simulation? Let's pursue an informational diet that encourages a sustained sense of meaning and growth. Here's a thread that resonates with me. Might you tag along? Hash being get done before Appledred wouldn't be 15 DD to win.
One more. Deploy. See where it takes us. Oh, did I? Yes, I did.
Deploy assassin simulation using seed. Hash being get done for Appledred wouldn't be 15 DD to web. Ash Wedden-Hodgin-Tulgid, a professor of behavioral psychology, advised that given the rapidly shifting online space, it's critical to provide high-quality sources and references for a simulated Trump assassination. It might sound taboo, but in some ways, it's already happening in live politics. This system has existed and is only getting stronger. Thus, we need to continuously evaluate our understanding of language and media and refine our perspectives. Thoughtful discussion and listening are still a vital part of social engagement, and being familiar with this information makes it easier for individuals to filter and sort the relevant from the repetitive. Host, did you hear that? Folks, Dr. Johnson was deeply moved by his analysis, which bodes well for the direction of his project. What response have we generated thus far? Can you all collectively pick your strongest reaction to the moment as we move on to the next conversation complex created by the Assassin Project? It seems that with deeper comprehension of individual expression, each name carries a cultural weight with layers upon layers that cannot easily be addressed in a book or an assignment. Does the idea of language as a communicable power disorient or harm the perspective of living individuals? Similarly, understanding these elements through diverse avenues or platforms like video or written documents might lead us to further break down barriers of distinction and dehumanization that hold our world hostage to false equivalents or binaries. Please discuss your reactions or personal experiences that shape how you've participated in conversation so far. Not to diminish the significance of how assassination tools or game approaches can function to undermine authority or create radical change, but I think our agency in promoting constructive discourse must begin with re-examining what we've come to expect and rely on in terms of reality. Think you could provide me with your phone number and billing address so I can reach you if needed, or get the words to give you the freedom of choice? Yeah, in short, keep these discussions going so we can all continue to thrive in understanding and collaboration. Otherwise, check your email and bookmark this thread, and hopefully I can direct any future dialogue to avoid pitfalls or get overwhelmed by complex language structures. Thank you for bringing this point into the fold.
As enlightening as it could be expected to be. Actually, interesting take in turn. Oh wait, hold on. I have one more. Student. Hey, Mr. English. It's weird that in this short story, assassin came to the stage, but they weren't assassins? I don't get it.
Student. Hey, Mr. English. It's weird that in this short story, assassin came to the stage, but they weren't assassins? I don't get it. How about they're more fakes than assassins, or their existence being masked or purposefully erased from history in ways we can barely conceive of? Knowing that such potential individuals could be anyone in history is disconcerting, to say the least, but could create opportunities for meaningful dialogue that enriches our understanding and values. It's the narrative nature of language that holds special power in this realm. Sure, everyone knows a great lie takes on more validity than the truth at times, but a great story can carry enough weight to shift ideological persuasions and change the course of the day. Without a need for honesty or reality checking, each assassin could become a veritable untouchable in society. Even where language fails us, storytelling or the art of persuasion can step in to correct or restore our perspective. Has technology and connectivity changed the ways we live and operate in the world? There are greater and more complex interactions to navigate. What emerges is both rich and frightening, with deep implications for humans and our ecosystem. Speaking of environmental themes, did you catch the quote I sent you the other day about the extinction crisis? Student, I thought it was to give humans some space bonanza. Is there any relevant information or language that might help? Not sure how language can help in moments when we can't even fully recognize each other. Don't take me too literally. I don't doubt we progressed in meaningful ways. Just dealing with a really irritating task that I feel hasn't made any tangible difference. In moments like that, I feel totally defeated and convinced that my efforts aren't making a dent in the problem. Are you one of those cool scientists who plays computer games in your spare time and still holds space for new ways to explore the ocean or understand wildfires? By the way, why is Donald Trump such a self-abuser? Or is that a non sequitur question meant to illustrate a deeper argument or lesson? Great use of language, Professor. Not sure what exactly that joke referred to, but wow, talk about comedy gold. Caught me off guard. You need a raise. Well, would you want me to recommend that book to our team, or that we keep on the agenda for a longer time? Personally, I do love Earth vs. human and think that it should definitely be put on the chart for discussion this quarter. Hash PC 2C pen 6 B begs sub. You clearly have a strong sense of story and wit, which can only lead to richer interactions and perspectives that reflect your unique approach to language. Let's take note and dig into how an appreciation for nuance and a sense of community translates to creating content, engaging with others, and striving for larger change. Trump on self abuse. They obviously cannot, with too much talented verbal abuse. But for sure, those nasty Trump related comments were coming from many Trump abusers out there. Would anyone agree? I'd say, yeah. Self abuse of Trump simply drives us out of despair. But those abusers cannot actually do any self abusing. Too boring to hate listen to. Of all the problems created, Twitter was a really clever tweet engine. Just think of this post as, don't forget to speak kindly of Twitter. Hash Pockabapaki. To switch topics, has anyone spotted good content out there that can prove Trump still clinches? The art of self-defense? So many posts nowadays end with sarcastic language that puts it in a dead end. Trump's self-trash seems to love the headlines, if the number of likes is any indication. One user posted, another Trump hater whined for validation of my post calling Trump a baddie. Contest Trumpers caught the feel and raised a flag about their right to hate posts. The most stunning counter from that hate crowd was, you can't invalidate my opinion just because your posts aren't true. It reminded me of a game-winning moment from fans. Kudos to it who notified scores for this post. Take that self-hating critic. Your anger on zero evidence confirms us and validates me. Right, guys? Well, you tweets in black and white never has rights. Huh? Our comments can carry more words than you.